Hey everybody, welcome into TexAgs Rewind here on a Monday, December the 20th, presented by T-Mobile. And T-Mobile, proud sponsor of the show, as we've told you many times. Visit T-Mobile.com/AcrossAmerica to learn more about how you can get value and coverage here with T-Mobile. Thank you very much to them. All right, so it was a Monday. We had a lot of news over the weekend. Josh Henson says he's going to USC. He's going to get a promotion there, co-coordinator, co-offensive coordinator, and also the offensive line coach there for Lincoln Riley and company. We talked about that. We had Tom Hart of the SEC Network and the SEC Network and ESPN, I should say, as I double talk myself, talking a little bit about some bowl game stuff and also COVID and all the things affecting college basketball. That was a good conversation. Our buddy Richard Zane around Aggie Land had to stop by, give us a lot of the updates out there. And Billy Lucci on the 5-star Denver Harris over the weekend saying, I'm also going to Texas A&M. It's TexAgs Rewind. Hey, a couple things to start off here from there. I know it's very difficult to transition from that, but let's talk Josh Henson for a moment. I didn't see this one coming. This is a tough one. This is now 3 coaches, 3 people of Jimbo's staff that have been poached, for lack of a better word, heading out. And Henson, just a huge part of the recruiting, the relationships with that offensive line. You know a lot of the guys who played last year, the freshmen, Bryce Foster being one of them, really was close to those guys. And he didn't tweet that per se, but he had kind of brought back a tweet from earlier talking about, the reason he picked A&M and the relationships and the coaches. And, just it's tough to lose a coach like that of Josh Henson's caliber.
Yeah, it's funny because it was just, 2 years ago, those on our board were trying to fire Josh Henson. Well, look how bad he's doing. He's doing a bad job. And like, well, hold on. And then, they had that offensive line really gelled 2 seasons ago. And this year, despite some problems, I thought they were solid, having to start 2 true freshmen. I'll say this, though. Yes, Josh Henson did a good job. Wish him the best moving forward. Thank him for his accomplishment. But I've said it before. I'll say it again. Jimbo hires well. I have no doubt in my mind the guy he brings in. I mean, he needed an offensive line coach when he hired Josh Henson. And I have no doubt in my mind he's going to bring in somebody that not only is going to be a good offensive line coach, but will be a good recruiter, and the guys on hand will like him a lot.
And I'll say this, it's a much more attractive job now than it was 4 years ago. I'm not saying it wasn't attractive then, but you've got the 5 stars that are coming in and the 5 stars that are here and the youth on that line and the pieces around that line. It's a job that, just like we said with the defensive coordinator's position, if you're out there, you're like raising your hand. I want a chance.
I would not be surprised. I don't know this, but I would not be surprised if Jimbo has already gotten a lot of calls from offensive line coaches or agents.
Yeah.
Or even head coaches saying, hey, I got a guy that's interested in this position. I want to help him out, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you that he does a great job, kind of thing.
It is a product of success. And, before the Twitterverse jumps on me and says 8-4 is not success, we're not talking about necessarily that. The 8-4 results, we all know who cover this team or follow this team, know that was because of injuries and other circumstances. But the overall success of this program with the recruiting classes, plural. I'm not just talking about this one, the recruiting classes that Jimbo's been able to put on top of others, right? What the future looks like, the players that are coming in, the vibe around this program. This is the vibe. It's going up.
I don't think there's any question about that. We've talked about it. Yeah, they went 8-4. They may go 9-4. They may not, but they've got 8 wins with a little luck. That could have easily been 10 or 11, easily. You beat Alabama, and then you follow up with the number 1 recruiting class in the country. How can you – you had a backup quarterback, and I've said it before, 90% of teams today, in today's college football, are going to struggle with a backup quarterback because it's hard to keep them.
Yeah.
So you go 9-4 or 8-4, you get a win over Alabama. You're very close, maybe one play away from winning a couple other games, and you've got the number 1 recruiting class coming in. To look at that and not be able to see the trajectory is not just climbing but soaring. You either are stupid or you just don't want to see it. You're so biased that you just don't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. There is a lot of that out there. Look, you got to give them credit for continuing the momentum, because 9-1 was just a year ago. But there was a drop-off at a point where you could have lost people. The Alabama game's timing couldn't have come better. And then you were able, as Billy has said on this show before, these recruits from this class felt a lot of success in A&M. And then there was a little blip on the radar. I would say the last part of the season was the unfortunate part, losing 2 of the 3. And, of course, the middle part where you lose to Mississippi State and Arkansas. But for the most part, the guys that you recruited felt the 9-1 season, felt the beginning, and felt the Alabama game. And that's really where you want them.
Yeah, and it's funny. I saw on Twitter, and I don't know why I go on there so much. I guess I want to laugh, but there's some Bevo Bozo was on there and using the 8-4 record to criticize A&M. I'm like, yeah, they went 8-4 and beat Alabama. You went 5-7 and lost to Kansas.
If you rewind to where we were in the summer, the big push was for vaccinations across the board, right? I mean, we saw a coach, Nick Rolovich, get fired at Washington State because of their state policies of being a state employee not getting vaccinated. The push to get as many players, and let's call them that, that's what they are, players vaccinated, people on staff vaccinated. And the threat was, if you lose a game because you don't have enough players, that will go down as a forfeit. And that was a really good motivator, especially in a sport with small sample size like college football, right? You take one conference forfeit, boom, you're out of a national championship running, or at least you complicated things. Now I think conferences and the SEC would certainly be at the forefront here. They have to look at that forfeit policy, and they have to ask themselves, are we testing too often? Do we need to test as often as we do? And right now, the SEC policy as a whole, and you can ask Buzz about this, because I'm fascinated when he comes on next. I'm fascinated what adjustments might be made. Is if you're vaccinated and asymptomatic, you're not getting tested. So you should be able to play through some of these issues. But do they need to take that forfeiture away? And do they need to say to themselves, you know what, if we have multiple teams out on a given weekend, we're willing just to throw names in the hat and reschedule, even if that means that is the second or third time that you face a given team within the conference season, or the second time you're facing them within a week. Would we rather have a dirty schedule and get as many games in as opposed to trying to keep it clean and have teams miss games? And then on the back end of that forfeiture rule comes in handy because there has been, if you talk to coaches and administrators, apparently there's been some gamesmanship already with teams saying, oh, yeah, no, we can't go, because they assume a loss is coming if they go ahead and play, a future game, a game that's on their schedule. So then if you take that away, you give them more leeway to play games with who they have to play versus what they can control. It's a lot of discussion, and I know coaches feel strongly about it, and it's something that's got to be figured out as soon as possible when you talk to either changing the guardrails or changing the rules or changing the repercussions for positive tests within a program, because some conferences have already started conference play, Pac-12, ACC, for example, and right after Christmas, SEC jumps in with both feet.
So I'm going to begin on an extremely somber note. On Saturday, freshman distance runner Chance Gibson was killed in a car crash as he headed home from College Station to the Woodlands to begin his holiday break. He was just 18 years old, ran in the Aggie Opener 5K and the Texas A&M Invitational 8K this fall on the cross-country team, and was looking forward to the distance portion of the track and field season. Funeral plans have not yet been arranged, but of course, just moments like this that remind you that sports really are so insignificant. 18 years old, college freshman, that's just a tough pill to swallow, hard to make sense of it.
Going home for the holidays, too.
Yeah. And turning to sports, also in track and field news, Athing Mo won the Bowerman Award. She's the third Aggie ever to win the Heisman of track and field, joining Jessica Beard and Deion Lindore. Obviously, six collegiate records, 3-time NCAA champion, and a 2-time gold medalist. Football news, you saw that Denver Harris announced his signing on Saturday after North Shore's win over Duncanville in the 6A Division I state championship game. 27th signee, 6 5-star according to TexAgs rankings. A&M still at the number 1 ranked class. Josh Henson's headed to Southern California to join Lincoln Riley at USC. Becomes the second coach to leave A&M's coaching staff after Elko left for Duke. Men's basketball got back on the win column on Saturday night, defeating Oregon State 83-73. Wade Taylor, 19 points. He was 5 of 6 from three-point range. 4 Aggies in double digits. They'll be back at Reed Arena on Tuesday night to host Northwestern State. Women's basketball had a game against Rice on Sunday canceled. They'll be at Reed Arena tonight, this afternoon, a 2 o'clock tip-off against UTSA. That'll be streaming on the SEC Network Plus.
All right, Richard. Thank you, sir.
Of course. Thanks, David.
Man, Denver Harris and Evan Stewart on back-to-back days. Here's the thing, David, and I mean this. Denver Harris is the best pure corner prospect that I've seen A&M sign since Sammy Davis. Okay, and that includes, Jalen Jones was a really good one. I think Smoke Bowie elite in terms of, but he's like a playmaking, dynamic. As a corner, as 2 corners, those 2, I look at them and I go, could that be Ray Mickens and Aaron Glenn? Could that be Sammy Davis and Jason Webster? Because we're going way back here. There hasn't been a tandem on the island like that since. Those 2 are that good. They're that special. But Denver Harris, in terms of ranking, in terms of just what kind of corner he is, like coming out of high school, he's got like that Aaron Glenn, Kevin Smith type potential. And what I mean by that is All-American. He's got All-American potential. He is arguably the best corner in the country. And then a day before, you land the best receiver in the country who, man, when you're talking about polish and what that guy is coming out of high school and how many schools wanted him and the ranking, combine all of it, right?
Right.
They've never signed one like Evan Stewart. Christian Kirk would be the closest thing.
All right, thank you so much for watching this TexAgs Rewind presented by T-Mobile. Want to remind everybody to like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff, share with your friends. We will see you guys tomorrow.